Let me tell you something that feels like a paradox. Here's a man who spent years being booed, criticized, and haunted by a seven-figure contract that didn't pan out. And yet, today, he's being celebrated in the same city that once turned its back on him. That's the wild, bittersweet story of Chris Davis and his induction into the Orioles Hall of Fame. Personally, I think this moment says more about the resilience of athletes than it does about the fans. Because let's face it, what fan base would willingly embrace someone who failed them so spectacularly? But here's the twist, the Orioles fans didn't just forgive him. They revered him. And that's what makes this story so fascinating. It's not just about redemption, it's about how a community can rewrite the narrative of a player's legacy long after their stats have faded. Now, I want you to imagine this, a guy who hit 53 home runs in a single season, a franchise record that still stands. That's the Chris Davis who arrived in Baltimore in 2011. He was the future. The Orioles had traded for him, and suddenly, they had a slugger who could change the game. But then came the $161 million contract, a record deal at the time. And then, the collapse. From .169 batting average to early retirement. What many people don't realize is that this isn't just a cautionary tale about contracts. It's a story about how pressure can break even the most talented athletes. Davis wasn't just failing, he was being crushed by the weight of expectations. And when he left, he felt like a failure. But here's the thing, he didn't let that define him. He took time to heal, to reset, and to eventually come back, not as a player, but as a symbol of what the Orioles stood for in their prime. What makes this really interesting is how Davis describes the success of that mid-2010s Orioles team. He doesn't talk about the numbers. He doesn't mention the 53 home runs or the playoff runs. He talks about blue crab races in the bullpen and Adam Jones-pieing teammates during interviews. That's not just nostalgia, it's a reminder that chemistry matters more than talent. I mean, how many teams have world-class talent but no soul? The Orioles had something special. They weren't just winning, they were connected. And Davis believes that connection was the real engine behind their success. From my perspective, this is a lesson for every organization. You can have stars, but if the locker room feels like a battlefield, you're not going to sustain success. But let's get real for a second. The Hall of Fame induction isn't just about the good times. It's also about the scars. Davis admits he felt like he let people down. That's the human element here. The thing is, when you're in the spotlight like that, every failure feels amplified. And yet, he's here today, being honored by the same fans who once booed him. What does that say about Baltimore? It says they're a city that values grit, that understands the difference between a single season and a lifetime of effort. And it says that Chris Davis, despite his struggles, became part of the fabric of that city's identity. If you take a step back and think about it, this isn't just about one player. It's about how sports can become a mirror for a community's values, its capacity for forgiveness, its love for underdogs, and its ability to remember the good times even when the present is messy. So here's the deeper question, what happens when a player's legacy is defined not by their peak performance, but by how they handled their fall from grace? Davis's story isn't just about hitting home runs. It's about the journey from being a lightning rod for criticism to becoming a symbol of resilience. And in that journey, he's reminded us all that redemption isn't about erasing the past, it's about carrying it forward with purpose. Whether you're a fan of the Orioles or not, this story is a powerful reminder that legacy isn't written in the numbers. It's written in the moments that matter most, the friendships, the failures, and the fans who choose to remember the good.